Hi, everyone. Thank you. Okay, ready?
Yes.
We waiting for anybody?
Julie went to the bathroom.
Okay, good evening. This is the City Services and Quality of Life Committee of Manhattan Community Board 5. My name is Tiffany Revis and I serve as the chair. Any items voted on at this meeting will appear at the CD5 full board meeting on Thursday, November 13th.
Can I see the words on the bottom? Because I can't hear.
Yes. Oh, sorry. We have 3 items on our agenda tonight. The district needs statements for the budget task force, from our committee. Second, discussion on the Penn Station arrest, and third, subcommittee updates. There will not be any presenters tonight. The topics we're covering will be discussed by members of the committee and public if anybody comes and needs to. And if we decide for anything tonight following discussions, if appropriate, we'll create a motion, which will then be taken by a vote. Let's start by taking attendance, please. So I'll start again. Tiffany Revis,
Michael Greeley,
Will Rothschild,
Mike Hagan.
Kevin Thompson,
Melissa Stewart.
Yoden Thondon,
and online.
Yaron Nodi Victor.
Okay, no one else is online. I don't think that's okay. Great. So first, for tonight is just to discuss our district needs statement that we're going to submit to the budget task force. There won't be a business session for this. We don't vote on anything tonight. We discuss it. It goes to the budget task force who completes the district needs statements, and then it gets voted on by the full board tonight. So earlier tonight, this afternoon, I sent everybody an updated version, which is a lot more organized, to send to the budget task force. Did everybody get that? Has anybody had a chance to take a look over it? Okay, I'm gonna share my screen, and then I want, anyone who has any comments, additions, deletions, anything that you believe that we need to discuss before we send it off to the task force. I apologize for my screen, so if it's doing anything by me. One second. ChatGPT helped me out on a couple of things, and I was laughing at myself by putting it on there. Oh, sorry. Here we go. Let me- Okay, so the way, just as summarization, the way that I did this was I focused on what we decided as a committee was gonna be our top 3 priorities within us, which would be the 3 subgroups that we then divvied everybody up into. I went back to the last 2 years, 2025 and 2026, and pulled things out of that, and then tried to do my best at knowing what's been done, maybe what hasn't been done. I've been on this committee for just this year, so I did my best at trying to see what had happened before that may have needed to be deleted. Marisa helped me a little bit, of course, Ron helped me. And so this is really where we're at. I mean, I don't want to go through each individual thing, line for line, word for word, because we're not voting on it. The budget task force will create the cohesive statement. But how do you guys want to go through this? What's helpful for everyone?
I have one kind of broad comment thought to bring to the group, which I don't have a strong perspective on, but just wanted to note it and bring it for
There's
discussion.
somebody at this end of the table that really doesn't hear well. So if you.
Oh, yeah, you can talk.
Well, I had my hearing aids last night. I couldn't hear anything anyway. Just, please,
Okay. I'll project. Is that better?
I'll let you know.
Okay. So the thought was that I think in last year's district needs statement, the focus was really around affordable housing as it relates to homelessness.
Mhm.
So just noting that there's obviously a shift here around the centering of the kind of solution being around mental health and centering of mental health needs here.
Mhm.
So it was just a shift, which I think was worth maybe talking through whether we wanted it to, it is like a recommendation around a shift in strategy with centering from housing, moving to mental health.
Mhm.
So one, wanted to note that, and two, you know, if that isn't something that we wanna like really put stake in terms of the like strategic element of it, I think there's ways that we could also frame it around like renewed focus on or prioritization of mental health, as it relates to the homelessness. So that was the one kind of, general note that I had.
Okay, yeah, I can definitely do that. This is my first time doing it clearly, and we have a budget task force now, which this all used to land within this committee. So it's a little hard to try to figure out what they want from each committee to then put together. But I do agree with that. I did separate them, but strictly because we separated the committee in those buckets. But I do need to write a little bit on that. So I'll
Well,
write a.
Tiffany, can I say something? Sorry, I can't find my raise hand function.
Your committee just talked.
So, thank you, Melissa. I think one thing to consider is that, unlike past years, this committee isn't providing the totality of the information for the district needs statement. And so a lot of like affordable, a lot of advocating for affordable housing, like creation and production, will come through land use. And this committee is sort of more focused on the programs and services. It's not the cleanest divide, but the programs and services that that go along with that. If the budget task force is just sort of doing its job, it will like combine that. And that stuff will still be there. So you will still see a lot of that information. It's just not necessarily exactly the purview of this game. That's not to say we can't also reiterate it. Of course we can, but I think we're also focusing on the things that are more within our purview. Does that make sense?
That makes total sense.
Okay, so maybe adding something like continue to support that X, Y, and Z are also a collaborative issue and continue to focus on it or something.
And a
Okay.
note, I mean, it's fine to put a note to Kim and the task force being like, we think this is really important to do. We imagine that land use is giving you the similar feedback, but we agree with that or something.
Okay. Make sure. Have you had a question?
I have a
Um,
question and a
Yeah,
comment.
yeah.
So my question is, for each of the funding, it says type of funding, it says expense. So is there a dollar amount that we're dealing with for any of these, or?
No, there's never a specific dollar amount if you look at the previous statements, but if there is a specific amount, that's now gonna come from the task force themselves. Some of the committees I've noticed haven't even put like the priority and type of funding into it, whether it's capital or state or whatnot. Because that really does fall now with the budget task force versus the committee in a sense itself. We say what we want, hi Lisa, we say what we want it to focus on in our priority levels. It's still kind of a work in progress, the fact that we're splitting the budget from this committee itself. So I've never, Yaron, you haven't either, right? You haven't seen any numbers specifically, even on the completed ones, right?
I didn't have.
Right, and you have like, no,
No,
right?
yeah.
No. Okay, sorry, I forgot I had Mike here who's on the course. So it's more just reiterating and prioritizing,
Yeah.
Okay, I think I've.
yeah.
I would think about like there are two goals here. One is being clear with city agencies what our priorities are, and two, making sure that we're putting visibility on things that we think they may not have visibility into. So it's both. So some of it is just you have this program already, you should give it more money.
Yeah.
Other things are there's something happening here in our district that we really want to draw your attention to, and that should get money too. So it's like both of those.
Okay, so my comment is, and it's just a general comment, since we're talking about housing and homelessness, it feels to me like this is a broad menu of a lot of different things. And I don't say that as criticism, Tiffany. I love what you did here, and thank you, because I didn't have any of the context or background. So I appreciate the hard work that you put into it. But it feels just like a menu of things for each department. And if I were just on the receiving end of this, and I understand the task force is gonna do what they're gonna do and massage it and whatever, it's not a clear articulation to me of what your main priority is. So like if you asked me personally, I would select one thing, maybe two, from the homeless services department, etc. That's how I would approach it and say, this is my most important priority. Because when everything's a priority, nothing really is. And the city is going to fund all of these programs at some level or another. So you're not really telling the city what they should really be focusing on. That's my comment.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
I just, the, what is it? The Office of Management and Budget, they asked us to have three priorities. So that's why we have three priorities, because they're asking us to do that. And then they want us to put a priority level for each agency. So it is a long list and
It,
laundry list of.
Yeah.
So yes,
And-
it doesn't tell a whole story. And
Yeah.
then they have the district needs statement, which is supposed to be that narrative and tells a story where it's all these individual requests just it's supposed to support that district needs statement.
Yeah, 20 years in government, and I say that's a horrible way to budget. But anyway, like it doesn't really articulate what a priority is. What it does is it sort of encourages incremental budgeting for programs.
That totally makes sense. I mean, the way that when you look back at the statements, and again, I've only gone back the 4 years, really, that I've been on the committee or been on the board to understand what's been done. It's kind of like a pattern. It's just,
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's always been like this, so that's the way it's done. So I can't answer specifically if that's what's asked to be done, if that's how every other committee does it, that's how the electeds want it. I don't know. No, great. And it's a great question for Mike and for Kim, who are on the task force, because I really can't answer that.
Well, can I say something?
Yeah.
I also, so, is Marisa there or is she?
No, she just left.
So it's my understanding that we follow pretty prescriptive process. So yeah, we do the three top line ones and then we fill out the asks. I think I hear what you're saying, Kevin. I think also we have to remember that we are here to advocate for the folks in our district, and we want to start creating a paper trail of things that we think are important and show them that we're advocating. And I don't think we lose anything by putting 50 things because they are required to respond to all 50 things, agencies. And we'll see, sometimes the response is not really helpful, but they respond line by line, on each ask. And at least we know we're getting it in front of someone. And so it's not, I think if you look at it as not budgeting, but advocacy, then it sort of makes sense to me to do it this way. I agree that it's not great to budget this way.
We don't have to belittle the point, or not belittle, but belabor the point. But I was just sharing my perspective.
Yeah, totally.
I got it. I understand what we're doing.
Tris, the man from last year.
No, and I'll also just note, I think, sorry, I just got here.
No.
each agency only sees the items that are routed to them anyway, so even though we see 50, they're all, F
Yeah,
50
no, I
Y
get
is
it.
only gonna see like whatever
What
we got
they-
of them.
That's a good point to put, so it doesn't see as unorganized or not as unorganized, but as broad as we see it in the 73 pages, I think last year was.
And then also, I mean, the agencies are one audience, but the other audience is the city council member who's going to negotiate with the mayor on the final budget, and so just putting up priorities in front of them, what is in their district, so that they could advocate for us also, just, again, it is a laundry list,
I get it.
yeah.
So if in the laundry list, is there any? And again, but thankfully, the task force will go through what I put together. I spent like the last week doing, because this wasn't my first time doing it, so it was a work in progress and a lot of learning on my end.
Great job.
So, oh my goodness, there's a lot of Googling and a tiny bit of chat GPT. But anything else? So I'll throw out a couple things. So Marisa looked over it too, before tonight. And she asked me to take out like the migrant housing because that's not the same level as it was last year when we asked for it. Also, she asked for me to, tourism is down from last year, but it's only like immediately more so because of the federal shutdown. And then there was a third thing. I will think of it. But I did already just edit those little tiny things, from what I sent you this afternoon. And again, our budget task force, thankfully, is supposed to be submitted to them by the 30th. Unfortunately, our meeting's tonight, the 28th, so I'm definitely getting this over to them probably before I go to bed tonight or in the morning. So they can, have us meet their deadline. But is there anything else pressing or concerning or anything you feel doesn't represent us as a committee that was put into that statement?
I mean, I have a couple things that I might add or make questions on, but this is kind of, the kitchen sink in here, and I very much appreciate your work, Tiffany. I think it looks great. I mean, one thing that I've been focused on, which I emailed you guys about, was vouchers and discrimination. And I think that has a big effect on homelessness, but I'm not the expert on that, and I don't know how many more bullet points we want to add to this, right? Like, I look at the street lighting, to me, is like, is that the most important thing? It probably is very important for some people, so if but I'm not gonna like redo this whole thing. And to think of every single thing that affects homeless people and affordable housing. And I also just thought about NYCHA and how are we encouraging people to access public housing, and also what are their experiences in public housing. But that's another dynamic when it comes to affordable housing and homelessness. So, I mean, I could probably think of a bunch of other things, but like there has to be a limit, right? So those are the two things that popped into my mind that didn't seem super represented here.
Okay. And I might tell me if this is okay too. I'll send that to you guys, but I'm happy to also like send just a little bit of comments made from our meeting tonight that maybe I didn't fully represent, that you guys will maybe have also gotten from other committees and also can throw into the completed version. Is that fine?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think more is probably.
Yeah.
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 And there's not a
we're-
limit. I think.
No, there's not. If you go through last year's, which again, this is the man of the year over here that I'm pointing to. He did this last year, for our committee and for the whole board. I pulled out the first kind of draft was me pulling out from those 73, 74 pages, and more than 2/3 is actually sits in our committee of the entire district needs statement of our board. So this new founded committee that we're creating here is, city services and quality of life. that is so much of what our district actually does entail, not that the other committees are not ridiculously fabulous and important. But our district needs statement has, for the most part, focused on the items that we are continuing to focus on this committee. And so it was a little overwhelming to see for myself, like how much does go into ours. And then try to just pull pieces of that, was a little tough, but there's so much I could put in there, and I'm happy to do that. I know that the task force will work on it, and then any additional specifics, they'll reach out to the, the individual committees and work even more with us as you finalize it, so. And I get that, it's a lot. This is, most of the things in our committee are the main needs for Community Board 5 district for our borders, so it is very important to have more than less, yes.
Is it possible that, building on what Will said, that we could maybe, add, supportive housing more, the need for more supportive housing as opposed to transitional housing or shelters?
Sure.
Which I think
Those
keeps in theme
words.
with the mental health sorts of issues we're talking about.
I'll make sure that's worded and very specific.
And Will said he emailed you or
Yeah.
something? Okay.
Yeah,
I emailed the whole group.
yeah, from that, subcommittee, so.
Oh, it
We
was maybe
are-
just the
yeah,
subcommittee.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, just the subcommittee, sorry.
So Will had sent some articles about rent vouchers and housing vouchers and discrimination. That's like current in our time right now, and actually our meeting on December 2nd, HPD is actually coming. And we will focus on
Awesome.
economic development and affordable housing. And they plan to discuss the warehousing, I can't say, I've told them everything I wanted them to speak about, the vouchers, the warehousing, the discrimination, the FEPS, whatever. So and then we will also by that point have a new administration, and possibly within that few weeks, there may be even something more for them to add to our education. So I'm excited for them to come. They're coming on December 2nd. Try not to miss that meeting, because I think it's not just for the subgroup of economic development and affordable housing, but it's huge for our committee as a whole. So, absolutely. So we are addressing that.
Awesome.
I want to see how they address it, educate us, and then
Yeah.
be where they need our voices.
We do have supportive housing listed under key district needs.
I'm sorry, where would it be?
Under, let's see, page 2, supportive emergency and transitional housing. Number 3. on page. I think there's
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
safe havens as well,
I
which I
think
think
I was
are really.
looking at the chart.
Yeah,
Sorry. Thank you.
Yep.
And I'm gonna look over everything again after our meeting and make sure
Perfect.
that I hone in, maybe even some more direct wording if needed, or a little additives here and there.
Can I ask Mike Greeley, you're on the budget task force, right?
Yes.
Can I ask, can people between now and the 30th, which is like 2 days, can people also individually email you if they have additional thoughts, or would you rather it not?
I'd rather they email Marissa, but yes,
Okay.
they can.
I mean the committee, not necessarily you personally, but yes.
Yeah,
okay,
right.
Great.
So I'm on the task force as well.
Yeah, I was about to say-
Oh, sorry. I didn't know.
Um,
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I just wanted to call out that I think Brad sent an email about this. There's
Yeah.
also the survey for
Survey.
folks to use individually too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Multiple venues.
Yeah, but if you wanna email Marissa or Kim, or not me, or not.
I'll take
Yeah.
it if you need to.
Well, I'll take it, anything about parks or community facilities, libraries, museum, and you're doing healthcare, yeah.
You want to admit that? So you're gonna get the emails.
It's okay.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally. Okay, anything else? all kind of good, and then again, this goes, they create it, it goes to full board, and then the entire community board like weighs in.
Thank you for putting this together.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Absolutely. Okay, so we'll move on to the. All right, so we're good, right? We can move on to the second item.
Yes.
So. All right, so the second item is discussing Penn Station arrests that have been recent from about May, June-ish until this last month. I did send everybody every article that I had seen and was given to me too. I am gonna say something on record that I'm gonna give a brief summary, and I am quoting from statements and articles. So please, no specific words, wording, accusations, citing, nothing I'm saying comes from me personally. This is a very sensitive subject, and I respect that entirely, and I just want everyone to know what I'm, summary is from being quoted. Okay, and I did distribute everything I'm about to say. I did distribute to everybody today. So, on September 25th, Representatives Nadler, sorry, I'm gonna say everybody's names wrong because I never know. Kruger, Simone, and Segal, they gathered and wrote a letter to Amtrak asking them to immediately stop targeting arrests in Penn Station, and then they called for a meeting. They had referenced recent reporting of incidences in a LinkedIn article from the city that was posted on September 24th. In that article, it stated that there had been a surge in arrests by Amtrak police, who are a national force and not bound by the city sanctuary protections, kicking off in June, targeting Penn Station bathrooms listed on an app, Sniffies, which is a popular cruising website and app for gay hookups. In the letter, they demanded that Amtrak police immediately seize identifying and targeting members of the LGBTQ community and search, seizure, and arrest on the basis of their perceived sexual orientation or gender identity, which likely constitutes discriminatory treatment in violation of the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution. And then they requested that they have a further meeting with representatives of Amtrak police. So on October 8th, Amtrak responded, and they said that starting in May of 2025, they began having uniformed police, so Amtrak Police Department officers patrolling Penn Station, and they had begun receiving increased complaints of customers of lewd behavior taking place in public view in the men's bathroom, and of some physical altercations stemming from these activities. They had monitored of open space, social media, and the APD learned that the men's bathroom had been identified on a geographic location app that promoted and facilitates lewd and indecent behavior in public spaces. APD took several steps to address these concerns, including patrols by uniformed officers. The prominent placement of notices in these men's room was monitored by uniformed police and plainclothes officers, and also closed off a portion of the men's bathroom. In June, as complaints of illegal activities continued, they began using plainclothes officers to monitor the men's room. As APD policy, these officers did not engage with individuals using the men's room unless these actions established probable cause and a crime was being committed, in which case both uniformed and plainclothes officers would make an arrest. CB4 reached out to our office and sent us a letter regarding this and asked CB5 if they wanted to have any comment. It's in our district as well as theirs. So they sent their letter on what their committee and board had decided to respond with. Just a little bit of definition background. I looked things up because I wanted to make sure that we were all informed. Has anybody heard about this app before or know about it? Should I?
Where's the other?
Sniffies? So started in 2018. It was a map-based web application. Again, I'm quoting, this is what it states. Facilitating casual hookups among gay, bisexual, and bi-curious men. It was founded in 2018 by Blake Gallagher, and the platform allows anonymous browsing to locate individuals interested in public sex and displays the known cruising locations. It was a free platform. They also had an additional features platform with a fee. It was available on, I think it was Apple, and they discontinued it as of May 2025. Apple stating that it was removed due to its explicit content, and they quoted that users were advised to exercise caution. The bathroom that was in question was a specific one. It was on 8th and the entrance on 8th and 34th, I believe. Or actually, I think it's 31st. Sorry, it's the one that's directly right next to Amtrak Police Station. And then the other kind of side note is, and I learned this educationally, thankfully, but the Amtrak police are federal officers and they do not have to abide by the protections when they're working inside the city. And so they have a different jurisdiction than New York Police Department does. So in all of this, in saying all this is to educate us. It's just a small summary of the issue. The two parties have agreed upon a meeting date. It is October 30th. And it's a private meeting. It's not anything public. It's just they agreed to meet to discuss the issues and allegations and concerns with each other. So I just, the board wanted just to discuss this as it falls into things happening in our area. We can discuss and decide as a committee if we feel this is something in writing to vote on, to take to the full board, which isn't until November 13th. So neither party will see anything specifically if we put something in writing tonight. Or if we just discuss it and familiarize ourselves with the situation and potentially revisit it after with more information that comes out of your upcoming meeting and anything else that occurs from that. So with that overview, comments. I'm not, there's no one here to present this. I'm just presenting the facts of what's been able for any of the public to see. So this is just a committee discussion. So anybody can go ahead and discuss.
I just have a clarifying question. Are we asking or considering signing on to this letter or writing our own?
It would be, it should be what CB5 wants. I was just showing the letter that they wrote because they asked if CB5 wanted to weigh in on it since we share that boundary.
It's two questions. So you said the parties are meeting, which parties?
Amtrak and NY and the representatives, the electeds,
The electeds and
Mhm.
Amtrak, and when is that happening?
the 30th.
Okay, and then, so the app Apple took the app off, and when was that in relation? That was after the arrest took place?
From what I read, arrests had been starting in May, but they said they had been Amtrak said they were
They're
seeing.
going through June at least, right?
Yeah, it was hard to understand because nobody's put on record specifics. There's not even, that's why it's a little hard to definitively discuss because there's not complaint records that are, public or arrest records necessarily that are public. So I don't know when it all started. I looked to see if the app had been removed and when they removed it.
And they removed it in May.
Well.
Okay, so this,
Search said May.
oh, I see. All right, well, so,
No one's stating anything. This is all just,
right,
anybody could Google this information and they're gonna find these, answers that I Googled and got answers for.
Okay.
So there's not a lot of background or proofing, but it's definitely something that's been occurring, and the concern of targeting specific groups, and discrimination. And I think I sent everybody probably 8 or 10 different articles. I sent you guys the letters from our representatives, and then the response from Amtrak. And yeah, I mean, this is our decision. We don't have to go either way with saying something now, discussing and having it on our radar, or not. But no, it's not piggybacking specifically on someone else, another district's letter. That was also just a point of reference for what another community board had decided to do.
Well, but I didn't like the CD4 letter. I did like Eric Botcher's letter better, but and I'm up to I would rather wait to see what the outcome, because I don't believe the federal representative Nadler asked us for any support, but I still think the federal government of more targeting in New York City and more, whether it's through ICE or through any other federal agency, will become a bigger problem. So I don't know if we want to start now or we want to start on this, but I think more will be coming.
So I have a comment, just something popped into my head. I think it was in June of 1969 down in the village. The police were harassing this nightclub, forget the name of the nightclub, you won't probably know it. And this escalated and turned into a great renaissance for the gay and lesbian community. And I'm just scared that something like this could be the beginning of another round of this crap going on where certain people are discriminated against, and it's better maybe that we can nip it in the bud by offering some advice or some pointers to these Congress people who wrote that letter and made the comments. What's the name of that nightclub?
I don't know.
In my head.
Don't know.
Oh,
And there, if you read, there was also some of those arrests where it had to do with immigration as well, and some of them arrested were it's not all just the LGBTQ plus community. It was a heterosexual man using the restroom who was in the process of seeking asylum, who's married to a American citizen, and spent a month in holding until a judge released him on having no charges. So there's a broad component to this of targeting. It's not just one group, but there multiple groups, just discriminatory components overall. I believe is.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know that I would want to take any kind of action at this point. I just think there's like a lot of unknowns, and my thought process was kind of like, okay, if there's public sex happening in the restroom, like that is a problem. I don't think, and a lot of people are complaining about it, then that's a problem, and maybe the police need to be involved. So that is a possibility. There's also like a long history of lawsuits against the Port Authority police for doing this exact same thing as recently as 3 years ago. So
They settled something in
2022, I also think 2005, there was something. So, and like, also a lot of these cases were dropped. So like, I'm not prepared to say one way or the other, but the fact that, you know, they settled a lawsuit 3 years ago for this exact same thing, now they're totally cleaned up their ways and they're just doing like honest police work feels unlikely to me. But I don't know one way or the other, so.
So someone sent this article to me a few weeks ago and then as a public bathroom advocate, we're trying to make bathrooms safer and more accessible. And I didn't know how to react to this, but I've always been a big proponent of full-time attendance. There's really successful bathrooms, the Bryant Park bathrooms has full-time attendance. If they want to provide something like that, I think that's more appropriate than security officers or whatever they're doing there.
Yeah.
So maybe a solution could be like Amtrak, you should provide attendance,
Full-time.
full-time attendance, make these bathrooms cleaner, more welcoming and safer at the same time. You know, how do we see this as a public bathrooms as a service for everyone? And having security officers there is alarming for other people besides, who's being targeted.
You're on.
I agree with everything that everyone has said, and I appreciate Julie talking about there's the public bathroom side, there's like a potential civil rights side. I like will also feel like I'm thinking about our role as a community board. I would rather, I think, wait to get some sense. I know it's not a public meeting, but to get some sense of what comes out of the meeting in a few days. Maybe our electeds would share some of that with us, to then see whether that's a satisfying result. My concern is if we put a letter together, by the time the full board votes on it, it will be out of date in a sense because this conversation will have already happened. So maybe it's let's find out what happened as best as they will share with us and then move forward with maybe an articulation that Julie mentioned. I think that's really interesting, as well as reaffirming that if we feel that like maybe there's been something amiss here, but I don't really feel prepared to do that now from a sequencing perspective.
So last night after the meeting here, I walked up on, this has to do with what Julie said, on the 35th Street. And when I got to Herald Square, for the first time, and I'm there a lot, I noticed the bathroom. Has anybody seen that bathroom? It's spotless. And this is at 9 o'clock at night, maybe 9:30 we ended. And I walked up to some guy with a 34th Street jacket on. And I said, are you, and a heavy accent, he says, yes, I'm responsible for the bathroom. He lives there, he sits there outside the bathroom. And the doors, there's 1 and 2 stalls, 1 entrance, 2 stalls. I have a picture of it, anybody's curious, I'll send it to them. And the guy stays there, he speaks little English, but he was so complimented that I said something nice to him about how clean the place was. He almost kissed me. I mean, it was terrific. You gotta go look at that bathroom. You wanna see a splendidly, now, okay, I just wanted to point that out.
Oh, thank you for sharing. Wish we could have that everywhere. I think that's what everybody.
There's another one supposedly at the Greeley Square. I haven't seen that one yet. I'll check that out in a bit.
The one in Herald Square is very kind of discreet, unless you kind of know. And like I said, I've lived over here for a decade, so I've seen it. But when it first came about, I didn't know it was a restroom either. So,
Well, it was closed until recently. I understand it's just been open.
Yeah, just-
And it's spotless. It's immaculate. You gotta see it. I recommend peeing there.
So let me, I guess, phrase it this way. Does anybody feel compelled that we need to write a letter or statement now? Okay. So to be educated on this, to keep a lookout for it. Again, keep it on our radar. It is a part of quality of life. It is a part of public safety. So that's why it's been brought to our committee. Happy to readdress it if and when something can come more further that we can, voice, specifics and support our community. Sound good? Any opposed to that? Thank you all. Okay, so last thing, gonna talk about subcommittees. Gotta hold people to some stuff here. Does everyone here know what subcommittee they're on? What bucket they're in? We had Zoom meetings in the beginning, started up some stuff. We all know, right? Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna start with economic recovery and affordable housing. So raise your hand who's here that's on that one. Nobody, right? Nobody's here. All right, well, since we're all at the next meeting, will be more focused on that. That was supposed to be more of the topic for this, meeting, but HPD is, our fabulous educators, for this, and they could not come, this month, but they have confirmed for December 2nd meeting. And again, what Marissa's discussed with them is, everything that's kind of come across our discussions as far as the Where We Live NYC 2025, which has already gone through the vouchers, the warehousing, the discrimination, and then anything, that may have taken immediate change, to be aware of, with, elections. And so that will be this one. I will distribute, Will, to the whole committee, everything that you sent. So that was, addressing discrimination against voucher holders by making penalties for discrimination higher, increasing transparency and other tools. They were introduced back in March. Is that when it was? March or so?
Sure.
But there hasn't been a whole lot of movement on it, but there could also be, so important to start looking into, because that will, after being educated on a lot of things, and then other components of that, coming through, our office, then we can start writing more letters or resolutions and voicing for our community. The following meeting for that subcommittee will be February. And as of now, on that agenda, the street vendor project is gonna come and speak. And possibly there may be breaking ground that comes, or myself giving an update, about the Stewart Hotel. Stewart Hotel is actually becoming a housing, and anybody that knows 31st and 7th will know where Stewart Hotel is. Land use, the board, Brad, myself are all on a meeting with them in a couple weeks, and they're set to break ground on November 19th. So we'll speak with them and see if there's any items that they're seeking action from CB5 directly, since that's our district. All right, since there's nobody on that committee, I won't ask the next question. Okay, public safety, raise your hands. Is that it? Who was on? That's it? Really? Okay, I gotta look back. Let me pull that up 1 second. So with public safety, one of the main reasons for changing our dates, our day of the week that we meet on, after this year, is because the precincts meetings are always on Tuesdays. The 3 precincts within our district that we have the affiliation with is Midtown South, Midtown North, and the 13th precinct. The 17th a little bit, but we're not going as that. There's 6 people on that committee, and again, I need to pull it up, but I don't want to lose my place here. And so what I want to do going forward is make sure everybody knows the dates of those meetings. Midtown South, and I'll send this out again. Midtown South is a 4th, and anybody else that's interested, obviously, is by Zoom. They do the 4th Tuesday of every month. So I've written the dates down for those. Midtown North is also by Zoom. They're the third Tuesday of the month. And then 13th Precinct, which is a little bit of our district, they are still mostly doing in person, also on the third Tuesday of the month. And so important for our public safety bucket to start really getting to know what is happening in our areas and what does need to be addressed, and then find out, you know, us as a board, committee and board, what we can do for that. So I'll send everybody some emails within that committee, and then at the next meeting, which is December
Second.
2nd, but then we have another meeting very quickly because we changed. I'm gonna send the dates out to everybody. Sorry, Marissa just gave this. We will focus on public safety. Also another topic that I want that subgroup to discuss is that has everybody heard about the new e-bike speed limit that just passed a local law, and they're actually enforcing it? I've seen people pulled over. I mean, not pulled over. I've seen people waved over and actually being given tickets. So it's a new local law.
You seen that?
Yeah.
I have,
Where?
Yeah.
really, where?
My husband and I were walking on Second and it was Midtown East, Second and and saw two people pulled over, and they were being written tickets by officers on foot.
They look like delivery
Below
people.
34th
Yeah.
Street or above?
Yeah, it was like right around, it's like maybe 33rd or.
And delivery people stopped?
One was, I didn't see the other one, he saw the other one. One was a regular commuter, and I believe the other one was a delivery. So there's.
They could be pulled over for running a light as well or
Yeah,
other things,
yeah.
yeah.
So they're actually putting more foot patrol, on those, and it's anything that's motorized. That's so,
Oh, I appreciate you saying that. That gives me hope, but I haven't seen
yeah, I
anything.
mean.
I saw no change at all.
No, this is brand new. This is like 2 weeks. 2
Yeah,
weeks
I know
old or
it's
something.
2
Yeah,
weeks,
yeah,
yeah.
okay, yeah, you know. So, I'm gonna ask somebody from that, committee to look into that a little bit, and maybe we have a presenter, maybe we just kind of discuss that, ourselves and chime in. And then the third committee, which seems like almost everybody else in this room, homelessness and mental health. That will be the meeting afterward. And for this time, I'd like to focus on a lot of the shelters and who within the board and the committee is assigned to the shelters. Marisa distributed a list of our local shelters, to myself. I can't remember if I distributed that to you guys or not. Some of them have specific, advisory boards. Yudin, you're on one, right?
Yeah, I'm on West Hab, but
Okay.
I missed the first meeting.
Okay, no problem. But do you have a way to get the information of when the meetings
Yes.
are? Do they contact you directly or it goes to the office?
Yeah, they meet, I think, every quarter
Okay,
and yeah.
okay,
And
okay,
very often their meetings don't even happen.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. Even if it's just an outreach of the shelters, I thought it was very important with when HPD came to the prior meeting, when they were talking about the shelters and the services that are out there that we don't just have readily available in front of our face. I mean, they were even talking about one of the, from HPD also spoke about like the stop-in shelters. I want to get those addresses down. Marisa did a fabulous job at creating the current shelters that we have within our district. I'm gonna put that together and I'm gonna have her post that on our CB5 website. And so just another part of that subcommittee that I'd like to make sure that we start working on now that we've had some education. Now it's time to do a little bit of work going toward that. So that committee will talk a little bit more about that. There is a notice of public hearing and opportunity comment on proposed rules regarding the Department of Homeless Services. That is on November 12th at 10 a.m. It's a Zoom. So I'll be sending a reminder out to this subgroup and we'll hope that somebody on that committee can be on the Zoom for an hour and take some notes and comment back on that. Again, I'll send that around. And then a third thing that, kind of dropped into this subcommittee's bucket of the last, few weeks is that, and this doesn't have to be anything, I just wanted to, talk about it, but the Department of Transportation, yes, the DOT, we think that that's transportation, which is, I'm on that committee too. But they are partnering with, Department of Cultural Affairs, Homeless Services, and Storefront for Art and Architectural. And they're doing, pieces titled Public Address. It's gonna be an artwork. And it's gonna be over all the boroughs. It's gonna be people living or working within the NYC shelter system. To like personal reflection and expression. And so these are gonna be displayed and ongoing from October 25th of this year until September next year. So maybe we can get somebody to, tell us about that a little bit more and provide our support.
Where's that gonna happen?
So there's a bunch of different locations. It's on their website. I'll send it to everybody. I just thought it was kind of interesting, to know about it and, for even us as just the public to go and see the work that people are putting into this. But since it's also being, partnered with the Department of Homelessness, I wanted to make sure that we were aware and supporting that. So I will send out that information to everyone as well.
And the bunch of different locations
Yeah.
are in our district?
There are, I think I saw, there's at least one, but they're all over Manhattan and in boroughs. And then hopefully, maybe at that following meeting with this subcommittee, we will be able to get a local representative to speak on the new administration, on behalf of the administration. So that's the goal that, for that. Other miscellaneous topics, I don't know if anybody wants to still dive into some of these. Julie, there was that public bathroom. Do you know if there's anything more going on with that currently? There was, you and I both couldn't, make it. There was a Zoom.
Yeah.
At sanitation a while back. I don't know if there was anything that you wanted to look into more on public bathrooms, since that's a miscellaneous topic. Containerization, as you're on still here. That's his realm that he wanted to be a miscellaneous topic, as well as Andrea, who's not here tonight. And then I just wanted to ask if there's anything else on any of the subgroups or committee as a whole that within the next 3-4 months of going through each of our priorities that I can look into. I want to make our meetings as concise and educated and thorough as possible. And things come across all the time that may not fit into each one of those buckets at whatever specific meeting that we'll bring up as well whenever that happens.
For the public safety, the one issue, I didn't
Yeah.
try in the last month, but previous month was just getting the Zoom link for the council meeting,
Oh, okay.
for the precinct council meeting. And, I think Marisa says she was gonna send it, but then there was a Facebook link and then there's nothing on the website.
Yeah, they don't,
Yeah,
I did 1 or 2 of the Zooms and she had to
okay.
get it from the precinct to send to me, and that's how I watched that meeting. So I'll speak with her
Okay.
to make sure that, especially with the precincts and the shelters and any of the groups that are having monthly or quarterly meetings, I want to make sure that we know how to have access to them. And so like I'm on I'm on the Port Authority Advisory Board too. I know when that is, it's quarterly. So, but it takes time to be, I don't know, I guess advised and figure out how to get into the network, but I will definitely speak to the office about that. Okay, so our next meeting is Tuesday. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, because when I was assigned to this committee, but the reason I chose this
Yeah.
committee was because I have a very strong interest in the scaffolding issue.
And what kind of issue?
Scaffolding,
And shed the shed.
Scaffolding.
yeah,
Shed
Me
the
too.
shed.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to know, like, cause I was looking back at notes and apparently I am on this economic, subcommittee. Oops. I was looking back at these notes from other meetings, I think there was some notion that there would be like a working group or something that would be formed. So if that is still the case, I'm interested in doing that.
Yeah, the miscellaneous topics, and that was more set up when Mohit was chair,
Right.
but then I was vice chair. So for that, going forward with what I call miscellaneous topics, just because they don't sit in either one of those buckets, but definitely are part of our committee. Those are encouraged more so to be spearheaded by who's passionate about that and bring it more to myself in the office so that we can do our due diligence and facilitate bringing that to the committee.
All right, so maybe we can have a conversation offline.
Absolutely, yeah,
Okay, good enough, thank you.
absolutely. Okay, so next meeting is still on the Tuesdays. It's December 2nd. Then the meeting after that, which I was because I just got this. I thought it was gonna be Tuesday, the Monday, December 29th, but it's not. We have a meeting 2 weeks later on December 16th. And then then not again until January 28th. So it's 2 weeks, but then there's a 6-week gap. As we then move into, for the majority now, we're Wednesdays. So SLAP has an earlier meeting to give them more time for the resolutions to take to executive and full board. And also for all the monthly Tuesday meetings that public safety has that we were missing because that's the date of our meetings. I will send everybody these new dates. They're not on the website yet, but we passed it in exec and everything. So I wanted to make sure everybody had them and then kind of what topics, what group topics I'm trying to do within those, up until the end of May, which will be our new cycle. Is that how it's there? This is the cycle.
Yes.
Our cycle's June, right? June. Okay, agenda number
So-
4, new,
So, am I to understand that the previous schedule of meetings for all the committees are altered now, like, with 212 and 216 and 128? Didn't we get something from the office
Yeah.
recently? So that's, forget about it?
no, whatever you got after full board from this last meeting,
I don't think we got anything
I don't know if you got anything.
before
You
that.
guys to get all this?
At the,
Yeah,
in person.
that-
in
In
person,
person,
we
okay,
got it,
okay,
yeah.
in person at full board. It's not on our website yet. Nothing past 2025 was actually, specific and, on the calendar yet. Like you can go on our website and nothing was after
We
December.
didn't get an email with like that looks like that for 2026?
Don't know who
Not any.
got an email. I mean, I did being a chair. I'm not sure.
All right,
But
I'll
I'm
wait for the updated one. I'll leave
Yeah.
her a note.
Okay, yeah, and I will send the dates out too, because even what I wrote last night that I thought is different, like one of the dates is different from here. The switch, remember I emailed to everybody, because I said, does anybody have a problem with going from Tuesdays to Wednesdays? Here's the reasons why. That may have been what you're talking about, Michael. I sent that out with what was the proposed for the upcoming year. And the proposal for the upcoming year was changed because of the board and everybody discussing about not having executive and full board only 2 days apart. So it had been a completely revamped schedule. So that initiative had taken place like a couple months ago and then went through executive board. So that was a whole big change. The only change for us was just deciding if we would change our days to better facilitate the organizations that we're trying to stay up to date with. And also for SLOC to have more time for their resolutions to be. Okay, number 4, new business. Go, Mike, and then.
I just wanted to announce that everybody was complaining that my garment district tour was always scheduled on a weekday. So I was able to arrange for election day to have a tour on election day. So after you vote, or before you vote, on election day, I will be doing my garment district tour. And if you haven't taken it, trust me, you're gonna learn a lot about the apparel industry in New York. You'll learn about buildings that are gonna be taken down for the proposed new cities, whatever it's called, plan with the homeless. And you'll learn about how the apparel industry got located where it currently is in the former entertainment district, in the former theater district. Plus, you'll meet the person responsible for that move of the garment district into that area. Personally, you will meet her, I promise. Also, you'll learn about why one of the large reasons that fashion dictated that the actual settlement of the island of Manhattan. That's election day, 10:30 at the giant button. Does anybody not know where the giant yellow button is? Good. So then you know where to meet me at 10:30 on election day when you're not working. That's no more an excuse.
That won't be me. I wish I could go.
Yeah, that's what I hear. But if you talk to people who have gone, then you'd really wish you had.
Yeah,
I
no,
loved it.
sure.
I still have
I
on
went
the file.
years ago.
I'm trying to get on date for that one. All right, yeah, you had a new business?
Yes, I have an item.
I don't know how.
I'm not really sure procedurally how, where this falls, but I'm just gonna put it out there and then you can maybe give me guidance, or anybody here can give me guidance. So I live in Midtown North, on 55th Street between 6th and 7th. On the corner of 6th and 55th is the Wellington Hotel. It's an abandoned hotel. There's work being done to the structure inside and out right now. There's scaffolding around it. So they had, and I think in 2002, this property was sold from one hotel group to another. I think the new firm is Extel, is the name of the firm. And they have amended their, construction plan, if you will, with city planning department. So they were going to have a 27-story hotel there, which is what the structure is right now. Now they've decided they want a 71-story mixed-use tower with 130 residential units, likely condos. So there's not affordable housing, and 156 hotel rooms. And they are also adding, obviously they're adding to the square footage, and in exchange for being able to do that, they're proposing that they're gonna do a whole new 50th Street transit station, which is not the transit station that they sit at, because that's the NQRW line right at 57th Street. So don't know why they're going all the way over there, but nonetheless, my co-op is up in arms about this, and I just thought I'd bring it up today, because people think that, this is a mixed residential use area. There's no 71-story tower anywhere around. I mean, there
Are you
are
kidding?
a few blocks around us, but not right there. You have to go a couple of blocks in each direction to get to the really tall buildings. So this would just be completely out of scale for what is there. It's definitely a quality of life issue, because this is gonna go on, this construction is gonna go on forever. And impact the neighborhood significantly with noise, pollution, etc. you know, in addition to what will happen to the neighborhood once the tower's in place. So I put all that out there to ask the question of, you know, how can I best advise my co-op neighbors? And possibly other neighbors on the block, and other buildings, because I suspect others have a similar concern about this. And how would it apply to the jurisdiction of this committee or maybe the land use committee?
And there's no 20% affordable housing.
I don't know, but I mean, it seems kind of odd that it wouldn't be, right? So
And it's not landmark, right? Is it?
no, it's not a landmark. Oh, there's a cool old hotel, but anyway.
I would just say that, Gary Barnett is the owner of Extel Development,
Mhm.
and he built, the, 157, the Park Hyatt on 57th Street. And he got an elevator on the 57th Street side on 57th Street and,
For the train.
for the 7th to go to the train, but then you can't, it doesn't go anywhere because it just goes to mezzanine and then there's stairs.
Right.
So it's an elevator to nowhere. And then they had to build the elevators on 55th Street to actually get to the platform.
Mm.
So all this to say that he built the elevator, got a subway bonus and built a taller building at 157 West 57th Street. So I'm assuming that's what he's trying to do,
Yeah, this is
another
Fast
subway
one.
bonus. But now it's at a different subway station.
Mhm.
And that 57th Street elevator to nowhere is like 500 feet away from that building, so there's no real connection of how he's getting these subway bonuses.
Unfortunately, this kind of stuff goes on all the time. The Penn Station,
Mhm.
the tearing down of the Hotel Pennsylvania was done with the idea that they're gonna improve the entire district, and we got a big hole in the ground forever. So I asked them, they were at one of our meetings, what's going on with that hole in the ground? Well, as soon as we get a tenant, oh no, that was at the, what do you call it, meeting?
The
They were
34th
there at
Street.
the 34th Street meeting, those guys. And so I asked them, from, what's the name of that big company that?
Vornado is the owner.
Vornado,
Yeah.
some big shot from Vornado. I asked them after the meeting, what's going on with that hole in the ground? Oh, as soon as we get a tenant or a couple of tenants, then we'll start construction. The hole is gonna be there for a while, folks. Unfortunately.
I think that it would probably go to land use. What I would do is send an email to the office, so Maurice and Josh can chime in on it, and then consistent too. And we can go from there, figure out where it's supposed to sit.
Yeah, okay, procedurally, where it's supposed to sit.
Procedurally, right.
But yeah, because I think what people are most interested in is fighting the application.
Yeah.
You know, like, no one wants to see the application approved. I've already reached out to Gail Brewer, because it's in her district. So she's aware of it. Because I think the little switcheroo on the 71 tower just happened, like in the last, you know, week or so.
And because it is a procedural and an application, I think it would be land use.
Okay,
But
who's the chair?
Nancy.
Nance, oh, yeah, okay.
But if we check the moves that, like,
But
she
yeah.
can flag it for her
Yeah,
radar,
yeah,
and she'll
we-
know, like.
Send it to the office and then,
And
yeah.
Julie is the vice chair.
Yeah, oh, okay, great.
Mhm.
Is that correct then, Julie? That we would send it to your committee, and would you all have a hearing? Like, would there be a hearing at some point if it went to your
Depends.
committee?
Depends if it's as of right or not. If it's as of
Depends
right,
on what?
if it's as of right or not, if it's as of right, then there's no hearing. Cause they're within the law, they're not asking for any special circumstances or permits or something.
So the office would do their research and then see where and if it can be put, and if it can't be put anywhere within the community board itself, where to file those concerns and complaints.
Let's see, okay, thank you.
All right, anything else? Okay, meeting adjourned, thanks guys.
Thank you.
You.
If anybody is looking for a new place, a new deli on Sixth Avenue and
But you're in a
Waverly Place,
difficult
like.
situation.
There is a new deli over there. If you go in there, you're gonna love
It's gonna
everything
be a
that you
big
see.
problem.
You know the
But-
place I'm talking about?
Oh,
But it's
Toshkent,
very difficult then.
What's the name of it? Is it-
Toshkent,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. You
I
know,
walked
TRB
past there, I
for
haven't been in.
consumers, for
Yeah,
weekends,
and look
Yeah.
at the
nights.
shrimp.
Oh, I know, it
Yeah.
goes on forever.
Yeah.
Like
We-
I'll
right
check it out.
now,
Check it out. And right
the
through
noise level.